Dude, the footage in Italy?
People passing out in the streets.
What was the footage in Italy?
The footage in Italy of like lockdown, all that shit, everything going crazy.
No. Oh, I was like, how'd they get that on camera? How'd they get that?
Welcome back to Careful Boys. We are very careful boys, and today we are going to share what our most controversial opinions are.
Oh,
damn.
Interesting.
Come on, Steve, don't do this. That's pretty much everything Nick feels about anything.
Yeah.
Opinions.
What are our most controversial opinions?
Well, yeah, what are something that I haven't shared yet?
You like it? Like
I like the death penalty.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people need to die.
Why?
Is that controversial?
Just because they're bad guys.
But what if they, because DNA evidence found out they weren't that bad?
Try to resuscitate them, but they're dead.
That's the problem. That's why.
But I think he's saying you got to make for sure.
Are you more lenient, or is the death penalty more lenient on people that were incarcerated pre-DNA tech? Because that's kind of interesting. Anyone caught now probably is easier to prove guilty than people caught in like this.
Yeah, I'm saying like if we start it, we make a big, nice little like PSA about it. Hey criminals, just to let you know, we're gonna start killing motherfuckers. So starting in 2023, and then.
And then the criminal's like, oh shit, I gotta get all my crimes out like right fucking now.
I used to be for that, but then now I believe they're demons in human form. So we got to keep them here as long as possible, locked up in a bottle, and because once they get unleashed, they're gonna reincarnate a baby, and then come back and do it again.
That is controversial.
That's not that controversial.
Yeah, that's not that.
We're looking for really controversial.
Really controversial?
Get real hot, Joe.
It's a real hot take.
Because
I'm trying to think, like our own personal, like I'm trying to understand the question.
Well, because I think controversial, it's like, what do you feel about that? Like,
if you just brought it up at any party at full volume, everyone's like, ah, shit, Shapel.
Or a lot of people would be like, damn, that's what you think?
Oh, I have one.
I guess, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I think social anxiety is a fucking scam, dude.
Ooh.
What do you mean it's a scam?
Okay.
Like it doesn't exist?
Because everyone has it.
No, yeah, I think everyone has it, and I think
It's like putting a disease on stage fright. It's like, duh, everyone has stage fright.
everybody's afraid to get judged all the time. Everyone's afraid to get judged by what comes out of their mouth. It's a part of life.
That's a fair one.
You just have to talk more, and then you won't have as much social anxiety.
Some people will be really upset with you for that.
But I'm gonna hyperventilate, you fuckface.
People have gotten mad at me about that, and I go, okay. All right, dude.
All right,
I used to always feel social anxiety all the time. I didn't know that's what it was called.
and you probably still do.
Just keep, exactly. I just fucking started.
You just don't give a fuck.
When I started working at Giant Rockets, it forced me to start fucking talking to people and like hold conversation and like doing stuff.
Having a job where you're forced to talk to people does help a lot.
Because it makes it easier.
It does help a ton.
It's almost like repetition helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost. Not quite.
I think there's more bad therapists than there is good ones.
Dude, I agree.
Really?
I agree.
I do.
What makes you think that?
Because I don't know what it is. Either people aren't fucking listening to their goddamn therapist. Because I'm like, you're the exact same. Like you haven't made any type of fucking shift
I have a take
in your fucking life. I'll see people that are like, yeah, man, I've been going to therapy for a minute. I go, you still suck. You know what I mean? Like that. I know that it's controversial, but I'm gonna say it. Like, I mean, it's a hard fucking.
Well, they're not working it 4 years later to the same person.
And I guess I'm not trying to say I'm all high and mighty, but like when I went through anger management, like I said, like I've had 3 different anger management teachers. Right? I started going when I was like 15. Right, and I stopped when I retired when I was like 20 something.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
So
But you put in the work.
I put in the work, but like also there's a lot to understand. Like when I was younger, it was a little different.
Yeah.
As an adult, that's when it like really
The seasons of life change.
Yeah. Because you got to grow up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, they made everything about me and like nothing else. Like the shit that I was like upset about. They were like, yeah, cool. Let's narrow it down to you. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of therapists don't do that with their patients. So I think a lot of times they're like, oh, it's okay to feel that way. Like, bitch, no, it's not. It's not okay to feel that way. You gotta fucking, you gotta learn, you gotta educate yourself and do for you. Not like fuck what your pops did to you when you was like 10. Yeah. Cool, it happened. It already happened.
How do we move forward?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we get past
and so that's what is never really taught. Like I feel like, listen, I know a lot of people that go to fucking therapy, and I'm like, Dog.
You ever see a cert of how to actually become a therapist?
Is it really easy?
Is it easy?
It's pretty easy.
We gotta create an account and log in, and then find the buses.
There's different licenses, right?
Type your email address twice.
The difference is, this is what sucks. Like, you know how doctors, there's a whole system of becoming a medical doctor.
That takes like 70 years.
Right, and then you have to, there's actually like a test, an oath, like you have to do all these things, and then you start practicing. Well, in therapy, right, you have counseling, you have psychiatry, you have people with so many various experiences, degrees, and whatever. And if you're just going on a site to like maybe talk to a one-on-one therapist or whatever, like you really gotta understand what all of these things mean. Like, are they MFT, meaning like marriage family therapy counselor? Where do they get their like certification? Like, it's kind of like being a fitness instructor. So like,
Which is also very easy to
exactly, it's easy to fucking get. It's not hard, unless you're like, oh well, this person's like got a clinic. They're like one of the leading members of like therapy, and that's why. And it's not standardized. That's the issue, is because there's also different schools of therapy, right? Like you could be like a cognitive behavioral therapist. You could be like, you know, so one of the ones I hate is called hypnotherapy. They use hypnosis to try to fucking therapize you. I hate that shit. No, they implant fucking things in your mind.
For me, yeah, you gotta use your fucking words. And I feel like a lot of times, like
That's a hard skill too.
Yeah, that's a hard skill, and I think a lot of people aren't necessarily, breaking that shit down. Like, there's so much information out there, other than your fucking therapist, that can guide you to walking through life a lot smoother. It's all like the information you're taking in, and it's like, this person can go to therapy every week. But also, if they're paying attention to the same shit every fucking day, then what the fuck does it matter?
And I also think it goes back on the individual that's in therapy, because the story that they're telling the therapist is also just one side.
Right.
It's like
It's one side.
It's their interpretation of what's happening to them, and as they explain to the therapist, it could give a very skewed view to the therapist, right?
Okay,
so that also changes how they give information back.
So to bank off you, that's like, okay, you go to therapy because you had a bad breakup, right? And you're only telling your side. It doesn't make sense if the other person's not there. Because the other person saw some other shit too. And also, with them saying that shit could probably fucking help you. I don't know. I just think there's just like this weird thing with therapy now, because everyone's like, therapy, and everyone's going, which is great.
I think it's great.
I'm glad we're fucking attacking it.
It's probably
But also
better
at the
that you're
same
going
time,
than not.
like,
The personal accountability part is the key factor.
Accountability.
That's the bottleneck.
Accountability. That's the fucking. Man, you go to college?
A little bit.
A couple times.
I watch YouTube videos.
What's the motivation for a therapist to not make you have to keep coming back, though?
That's another thing too.
Like, what's the? Why wouldn't?
Because if I cure all my clients and they never have to come back, then where's my new set of clients?
Well, I mean, but I feel like that will cost. I feel like that's kind
I think ideally you would have a success case, and then they would tell their friends. So each new cured person brings in 3 more people.
What if that person has no friends?
Well, it is kind of, but it's kind of like, it is kind of more like what Nick does, right? Where you get your body right, and then it's something you keep on having to do. So it's if you went through some traumatic thing, like you have to keep on checking in, keeping that brain like
like your mental fitness, huh?
I think so.
When I had a therapist for a little bit, and I was going through some shit, and I needed to talk it out.
Is it because you're a bitch wife?
No, it was because she told me it was my bitch ass self. She was like, "You're being a little bitch."
Your real wife is toxic.
No, that's what my therapist said. My therapist was like, "You're a fucking little bitch, and you need to get over it."
And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that.
Most of the time.
But like, no, that's what 100%.
But like
A good therapist would told me was like, "It's not about you, you fucking idiot. Pull back, right?" So, and then she would say that, and then after a while, she was like, "Yeah, I don't think you need to see me for a little bit." And I was like, am I a bad client? Like, I was like questioning, like, am I fucked up? So that's my wife. I was like, is that normal? And she goes, yeah, good therapists do that. Good therapists will be like, yeah, my line is open for you. You can always come back and hit me up.
Yeah.
But like, as of now, I think you're fine. You'll be okay. But
oh wow.
But she was like, my line's open. You're good. Talk to you later. Because I also think if a good therapist really wants to be good at their job, they actually want to provide value and service. and really get somebody to where they want to be. So if they have someone who is not making any progress, they automatically become like a dreaded client.
For sure.
Right? So they're just like, fuck, this ain't working out.
Today's video is brought to you by Warby Parker. Look at those cool sunglasses.
Aren't these cool? And you know how I know I made these fit? Because I got to get 5 of them. And then sometimes, like on the websites, like if you go to all the different brands, it'll look like this, and you think it's perfect, but it comes too small and you put it in your face, or it's way too big, or like this thing doesn't fit. And what I like about Warby Parker is you get to choose 5 of your favorite ones and you try them on, put on different outfits and go, oh, you know what? This one actually looks and fits good.
Yeah, that's the best part of it is usually you don't get to try on glasses when you buy it online, and then a lot of them, they have really crappy return kind of like programs, but with Warby Parker, you could try it on, be like, oh yeah, I look pretty cool, let me get these. Or like, you know what, I don't know about this one, I don't think it fits with my nose.
So Warby Parker offers you everything you need for happier eyes. From eyeglasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, even eye exams. Like, what's going on in there? And you can shop with them online or in stores. And glasses start at only $95, including the prescription lenses.
Wow.
That's a good deal, man.
Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free. There's no obligation to buy. Ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label.
So try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/off-the-record. Your lazy ass doesn't even have to leave your house at home.
But then when they have someone that has gotten to big strides, they go, oh man, this is great. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I could relate that to being a personal trainer. Like I have some clients that I'm like, fuck, dude, you're not. We got to figure out a way to get you to the next step, right? And it's taking a really long time, but it's like, okay, it is what it is, but it does become frustrating. But then you have some clients that knock it out the park, and you're like, great,
Yeah.
I don't need to see you as much anymore. You keep living your life. That's you want to get them to where they want to be. But
You want a therapist with no ego. Because then they're like, it's straight up like, they're not being biased or anything like that. They're just like, hey, this is what it is. Just being straight up fucking real.
For sure. But like what you were saying is like when a client goes to a therapist and they have a great experience, they are definitely going to be way more willing to talk about it to other people and be like, yo, I had this one therapist that hooked me up. They did such a good job, and their approach was X, Y, and Z, and then it becomes like a word of mouth thing, and then they're like, okay, cool. Then it does lead back into their business. So
yeah, I have a friend. He's like pretty successful, and when I was talking to him, he had like pretty traumatic and physically abusive upbringing by his parents. And then I was like, oh shit, damn, that your dad did this, beat the fuck out of you, whatever, all that stuff. And then, so I was like, do you have any like feelings or like towards your parents? And he goes, no, I fucking love my parents. They're the best parents I've ever had because they did the best that they could.
Yeah.
So what they did to me is on them, but how I receive and perceive what they did to me is now on me.
my responsibility.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy.
Because I grew up with the same thing. My stepfather was fucking crazy. But meanwhile, I'll call that motherfucker right now. You know what? We'll get him on the phone. Let's get Jerry on the phone. Hey, Jerry. No, but like,
I'm gonna beat your ass. I fucking told you not to call me.
There's something. I think there's something dope to where you can look at a person that caused you this trauma, and meanwhile, like you've grown up in a way to where now you're like, hey, that was in the past.
That's to your benefit. That's you benefiting. Yeah.
If you feel some type of way about that person for a really long time, and it holds you back to doing anything else, they have a power over you in a lot of ways.
For sure. So imagine if like this. Say, you know, in some weird way, I told about my stepfather, and then I was able to get him in prison for what he did to me when I was a kid. Then what?
Yeah.
I'm still mad at him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like the anger is still there. So it's like, what?
It might feel a little better.
It might feel a little better, but not
how
really.
you are.
But you still got to do the work either way.
You still got to do the work either way. Like you're still gonna be upset.
Right. That's just the outside. You still have to work on that shit.
Exactly.
Either way. Yeah.
Either way.
That's big boy shit.
It is big boy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, was that pretty controversial? Was that?
That was fuck therapy. I agree.
I think we should get rid of it.
I'm over it.
Get rid of it.
You know what's weird is like, why are controversial things today just truthful things that people are afraid to say?
Because people are softer, I think.
Or like they're you know what it is? I think they don't want to hurt people that don't think the same way.
I don't agree. I think they don't care about hurting people anymore. Look at what just happened during COVID, dude. You had everyone's neighbors telling on each other and shit. You had people couldn't wait to hurt someone if they're doing something.
They'd rather your business fail.
Yes, exactly. And that's my thing for this, my controversial opinion. Every one of those motherfuckers should have a sign on their lawn saying I was a dumb bitch during COVID. 100%.
Okay.
Bumper stickers, t-shirts, fucking signs.
Do you think you call these fuckers out and they'll even
Megan's
own it?
Law.
Because there's a lot of people that have
They're not owning it, but that's why I want them to.
No, they really
All the social media people out there fucking shaming
They
people.
can't even find it in their memory when they said these things.
Yeah.
Like even if you confront them.
Do you know how many people I was shaming during COVID, dude?
You were shaming people? Hard. Get hard.
Bart was like, "Hey, come over and watch the fights. Mike Tyson fight Roy Jones," and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? During a time like this?"
How dare you?
I didn't tell him that, but I didn't go.
I was like, I'm gonna give COVID to everybody if you want to come.
You get it now.
Now we know
Get it with your homies.
None of the lockdowns helped stop any spreads, helped save any lives. It was just a bunch of feel-good bullshit.
You know,
I'll never forget. I was at a CVS one time, right, during Christmas, and there's this chick standing in front of me, 6 feet or like whatever. I'm probably 3 feet away from her, and she turns around and looks at me, and she's like, "We're supposed to be 6 feet apart. I would like to track her down and say that you were a dumb bitch."
Oh yeah, I got one too. I got beef with somebody. I was outside of a Phil's coffee shop working on my computer, and I was working, and then this guy walks around and he goes, "Put your fucking mask on." And he was like this tall, skinny white dude, and then he walked down. He walked away from me, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
where's he at now?
I don't know, dude. Hopefully he got hit.
Hey, but let's put a bumper sticker on that fucker.
Yeah, let's put a bumper
I was
sticker
a dumb
on.
bitch
Yeah.
during COVID.
I was a dumb bitch.
And he's walking away. I was like, at least fucking.
I was a scared dumb bitch during COVID.
Exactly, and let's run his pockets
And
out.
it wasn't
Let's run
scientific.
his
I was
pockets.
just being a dumbass bitch.
Yep. Because you will show them the science, and then they go, "You trust the science."
Yeah.
Dude, it was interesting watching people just have this like try to be this authority figure of like, you know, to tell you what to do, and it's like, bitch, like who are you? Also, like when people are like, you know, you're when they were calling people murderers,
Grandma killers.
Most
Grandma
used
killers.
word ever during that whole thing.
like murderers, yo.
You know
Like
what blew
people
my
were
mind?
saying that.
I didn't realize how many people didn't know how like just viruses and diseases just work. It was like, you fucking moron. You know how many people die from the flu like this way every year? Like yeah, they get they get sick and then they fucking die, and then it's because it spreads this way. Everybody knows. Like I thought everyone's like, duh, you're supposed to wash your hands when you come home from outside. You're supposed to do these things, like duh, right?
But you know what I blame? Not white people. Not
The media, the white media.
No.
Chinese people from Wuhan.
The reason why for the reason why it got so hectic.
Yeah.
The people I blame, or what I blame, is the educational system. Our educational system
you're
is
right.
dog shit.
It is.
And it like there's people that have no strong educational background saying shit where you're like, dog, I know how far you got in school.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you telling me what the fuck to do?
Yeah.
Like who are you?
We got 8th grade graduated fucking like leaders, dude. Like
That's what I'm saying. And like these people are like, yeah, this is what's up. Like this is what's happening. I'm like, bitch, what?
that one fucker told us to wear 2 masks to make it even more protective.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
Who did?
Fauci did.
Yeah.
Ooh, I remember there was a time
Let's run his pockets. Let's run Fauci's pockets.
on my Instagram feed, I had some like old buddies that were convinced, and this was early in the pandemic, and I don't know if you guys caught this, but guys were saying that 5G was causing.
Oh yeah.
That was a thing that was going on.
That
for a
was
while.
the thing.
And I think I have a couple of family members that work in like the 5G like cell phone tower space.
They all quit their jobs.
No, they were saying that people were destroying 5G towers because of it.
People are so dumb, dude.
Fuck, man.
How do you come up with that shit?
See, I worry how fucking dumb Americans are, son.
Oh, I mean,
And this is in California.
But the funny thing is, how do you differentiate why was 4G okay? What did they know about 4G? But what did they know about 4G to go, that's cool? Because I need that to tell people about 5G.
Yeah, how many G's you goddamn need?
yeah.
Like, what?
You wouldn't understand, Ryan. Okay.
My radar for the whole COVID thing was 3 things. One, our graphic designer, he also worked for like the NBA, and he told me, I think back in, I forgot when, but it was maybe like, back in I think December or January before like the March and April lockdowns, he was like, hey, I think we should all come out with masks because there's gonna be masks with every single NBA basketball team on it because of this COVID thing. I'm like, what? What the fuck? Like, it seems so crazy that something was already so predestined. So I kind of I've made a little bookmark there. I'm like, that's crazy that he would even know that, like, or the entire NBA knows
The trend is
this is what we're gonna do. My second one was
got a Lakers one.
I have a friend that was a nurse at Cedar Sinai, and he told me he doesn't know why, but every single death he puts down, it's gonna be $10K for the hospital, and then also he's gonna get a certain amount of like overtime if he worked whatever. So I'm like, okay, if he's at the front lines and he's extremely happy to go to work because he's gonna make 3 times the amount than he ever did. I'm like, because most people it's like life or money. They're like, oh, I'll take life. For him, it's like the danger's down here. I'm gonna take the money. So that was like my question mark number 2. And the third one was when it was full blown and homeless people were having a party in the fucking streets.
None of them are dropping dead on the floor.
And you're like, wait, if the people with the least amount of resources should drop like flies.
They should all be dead,
But
like
it's not.
first, like
Only-
a real
All
pandemic.
the deaths are coming from obese first world countries.
And old people.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I don't think this is what it's being painted.
So don't lie. Be honest with me. When it first popped off, did y'all?
scared, bro.
You were terrified.
I think everyone's scared in the beginning.
Terrified?
Dude, the footage in Italy,
People passing out in the
What was,
streets.
what was the footage in Italy?
the footage in Italy of like lockdown, all that shit, everything going crazy.
No. Oh, I was like, how'd they get that on camera? How'd they get that?
Do you guys remember New York, where there was all the hospitals, and then they were showing fucking mass graves and shit?
Yeah.
That is scary, but
And then,
It
like,
was, look, there were people dying in New York, but it was
For sure.
They go,
For
it's
sure.
a COVID death, like Bart's saying. They made everything a COVID death, and they're making money off of it. So they're actually not incentivized to tell you what happened. They're incentivized to lie.
Yeah. And then I remember when and then the final thing was when I did catch it, and then I remember getting fucking swabbed and shit, and then they're like, oh, you're like positive for it. And then I was like, oh, okay, so like what kind of medicine? They're like, you don't have medicine. And I'm like, oh, what do you do? He goes, oh, I just wait it out for 2 weeks. And I'm like,
Yeah, the fact that they were saying just wait it out.
everyone just says wait it out, and your body,
Exactly.
and your body,
That's what I thought was interesting.
and your
too.
body
It's
just
like, you can't say
heals.
nothing.
Yeah.
And then I remember day 1, I'm like, all right, I guess time to watch fucking Karate Kid Marathon. And I turned it on. Day 1, day 2, I felt good. Like in 72 hours, I was like, oh shit, I think I'm back to normal. I'm like, what the fuck?
Not me. I was not.
You know what the
I
most
was not down for the count.
How early did you get it though? Did you get it early?
No, I got the shit when it was like the second strand where it was like pretty hardcore. I was down for a count for like 10 days.
Oh,
Damn.
Yeah, I was
So you know what the most ridiculous shit was? Okay, so do you remember when they were trying to open back up, right? Their game plan was, okay, we're all gonna get vaccinated and then we're gonna have herd immunity and whatever, right? So they got like 20% of the population vaccinated, and then they kept saying, all right guys, get your free vaccinations, and then no one really wanted to get vaccinated. And then they just started bullshitting like, okay, we still got about like so much more medicine, come on.
Come
And then,
get some free donuts.
and then they
too.
said all of a sudden,
Free donuts.
and then all of a
Like,
sudden,
you guys
they're
got hockey
hey,
tickets?
we
I'll go for hockey tickets.
They were like, hey, we met our goal. And it was like less than 30% of the population actually got vaccinated. And they're like, well, isn't it great that we have herd immunity now? And I'm all like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
You failed at getting everybody vaccinated. A lot of people were questioning it. And now they're making this argument like, okay, now it's not the same potency. It's a weaker, but that's what would have naturally happened anyway. That's what happens when there's like when the flu was introduced and all that.
Yeah, but we weren't just blindly trusting the experts, Joe. I had a buddy who just got diagnosed with cancer. He had to go to 3 doctors before they even knew he had cancer. Because the experts, it's fucking crazy, isn't it?
So it was Sweden or Finland or one of those countries, right? They, from the get, they were like Florida. They were like, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna shut down our economy. We're not gonna do any of that. It's
oh,
just
and then they
open.
all died. That's right.
Yeah, the whole country doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it blew up.
And
Florida's just gone. They're all
The 5G got it.
didn't Florida the month after lockdown? They're like, yeah, we're not doing this, and then they just.
Oh yeah, they just straight over like, nah.
It was fast.
Laguna Hills should be wiped out. Same with San Clemente. They should all be dead.
Orange County should be.
Oh yeah, Orange County was like, no.
The extreme politicization of it. Because when Trump was in office, remember he was like, "Oh, don't worry, I got homies in the big pharma. They're working on a vaccine." And then all the Democrats were like, "You can't trust that shit. It's way too fast." And then when he switched power, the same people that are saying don't trust that shit are the same people that are like, "Get the vaccine." I'm like, but the companies are the same.
Yeah.
It's still these three companies.
Dude.
Yeah, and it's still Rush.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute.
I remember-
this is craziest flip flop I've ever seen.
I remember during that time they had Olivia Rodrigo, the Filipino artist.
singer?
Yeah,
what's up,
and
huh?
it was weird because I was like, who's this girl at the White House giving like a press conference about how everyone needs to get the vaccine, all the young kids need to get the vaccine, and I was like, oh shit, this is their way to get like young kids to go get the vaccine. Because I was like, who the hell is this chick?
Like, why would you need a fucking charity concert to go get back? That's the weirdest fucking shit.
She wasn't singing.
That's a different fee.
It's weird when everyone uses the same lines, right? I always find that to be indicative of some of a successful maybe advertising campaign like you're talking about, right? But like one of my favorite ones is like people get the vax, they get the booster and all this shit, and then they take to Twitter to inform the world. I'd like to inform everyone that I have COVID, but I am so glad that I have the vaccine, or else it would have been so much worse. They all said the same exact line.
Or it would be so much worse.
Do you remember when they originally said if we get vaccinated? Do you remember when they originally said if we get vaccinated that we won't get COVID?
Exactly.
It's that was.
And then they said if you got vaccinated, you are now a super spreader.
And I was like,
fuck, dude.
That flip flop. That flip flop was crazy. They blamed
That's
you.
the craziest flip flop.
Crazy.